I'm James Parker, and this is Florida Story. For our first Florida story, we're going to go to the state capitol where Florida lawmakers are debating a bill that sounds like it's a little extreme. Florida lawmakers continue to discuss a proposed bill that would ban left lane driving on interstates, is what it says on WPBF.com. But if you actually read the text of the bill, I know that sounds really dumb. Really, what's the point of even having a left lane if no one's ever allowed to drive in it? But they're trying to find the perfect wording that says you can only use the left lane while you're in the process of passing somebody or you're about to make a left turn, setting up for a left exit or whatever. So right now, the wording in the bill is kind of messed up because an amendment screwed something up. And it's funny, but that's not like the final version of a bill. But it is kind of some goofy thing that is very apropos and expected of the low expectations we have of our friends down in Florida. Hold my beer.
Hold my beer.
Hold my beer.
Hold my beer.
We're going to Lakeland, Florida, and this is an interesting story because I've had doubts my entire life, and they just get relaxed by the day. And this is concerning UFOs. Are you a believer in UFOs? Because now the Pentagon admits they're real, and of course, if we're going to have UFOs around here, of course, it's going to be in Florida stories. But Lakeland, Florida, there's actually some good video. Everyone's got a video camera in their pocket now, and some enterprising Florida man in the Lakeland area gets some incredible video of these two fiery orbs. If you come watch the video version of Florida Stories, you'll see it. But there is no great explanation for this. And the weird part is there's just absolutely no sound. These things aren't making any sound. You can hear the Florida guy talking, and you can hear some ambient noise of like birds and the wind blowing through the leaves. But the balls are moving in a way that cannot be explained by drones or helicopters or airplanes. So unidentified Florida objects, Florida Stories seems like a pretty obvious match. Hold my beer.
Hold my beer.
Hold my beer.
Hold my beer.
We're going to go to the Daytona area, but it just starts there. What's going on is there was a really cool shipwreck that was found by Daytona Beach back in December. And it's been a few months. And so now that they're publishing research reports on what they found in it, you do a couple more searches, and it is not really that uncommon for people to still continue to this day find shipwrecks on Florida coast. There's a whole lot of little ones where some goober's boat just got washed up on the shore in a hurricane. But if you go through the more historic ones, there's a lot that have been found and found pretty recently. There was a huge one that was found by Crescent Beach. It's called the Carolyn Eddy, and it's from the early 1800s, and it had gold on it. And there's another one, that Ponta Vedra, had gold on it. And I had to look up something. There was a shipwreck from 1715 by Fort Pierce that was found in 2014, and it had elaborate rectangular pyxes on it. Do you know what a pyx is? A PYX? Yeah, I don't know it either because I'm not a Catholic. But when you go to some Catholic communion services, this is what they keep the wafer in. I'm Protestant, and depending on what Protestant church, they just give you some various form of a cracker. But I've noticed that the Catholics give you, it has to be a round circular wafer. They're very specific about it. And they're so specific about it, they even have a container with its own name designated just for such a purpose. It's called a pyx. And apparently, if they're made in the early 1700s and out of pure gold, they're worth a lot if you find them on the coast of Florida these days. So let me know if you find any. Hold my beer.
Hold my beer.
Hold my beer.
Hold my beer.
We're going to go to the happiest place on earth, Walt Disney World. I mean, it's not going to be the happiest place on earth if you're hearing a Florida story about it. But what we have is a curious case of, reason 628 why I'm embarrassed to be a man. And that's another one of these guys. We have a Walt Disney World cast member who just lost his job because he was taking upskirt videos. Upskirt videos is exactly what it sounds like. This is exclusively dudes. They like to take videos of unsuspecting women with their cell phone up their skirt, and then they use it for self-gratification later. And the guy had hundreds of these on his phone. And the cops asked him, why are you taking all these? Why are you exploiting your position at Walt Disney World, to be around people who are going upstairs in a vulnerable position and clothing that is, since they're all outside, it's got to be sort of heat compliant. And so there's a lot of skirts going on. And his explanation is just horrible. And he says, well, because I like it. It's hot and it's really hard to find online. Well, yeah, because part of the appeal of this is that they don't know. And so now it's like super naughty. And it's like, that's weird. Doesn't that take the fun out of it? That's not, you have to, what a weird thing. And I just want to point out that this is a dude only phenomenon. There are no chicks that are trying to sneak pictures of my drawers by putting a camera under my soccer shorts. It's just, guys, what's wrong with you or us or whatever? I mean, and then you add in the Florida aspect, so doubly weird. Ew.
Hold my beard.
Hold my beer.
Hold my beer. What is it?
We're going to Fort Lauderdale, and we're going to go back in time. We're going to go to 1990. A mom opens the door with her son standing behind her, and it's a clown. Why is a clown here in the middle of the day? It's not my birthday. Well, the clown shoots her dead. Well, the husband gets remarried soon after that. And as cold case DNA gets run through new databases in the modern computer age, some of these old pieces of evidence from 1990 turn up new hits. Well, this one does too. It looks like we found the guy who killed your first wife, Mr. Husband. Oh, who is it? It's your current wife. Uh-oh. Turns out that she was the mistress at the time, and the mistress wanted to have her lover. And so to get the wife out of the way, she dressed up as a clown, shot her, and got away with it up until about 6 years ago. So she gets arrested. She's put in jail, no bail. So she's been in jail for the last 6 years, and she finally pleads her case. She pleads guilty to murder. And in the case, in the agreement, she gets 12 years, which seems kind of light. But here's where it gets worse. For Florida's good behavior law, she can get that down to 8 years because she has had impeccable behavior for the 6 years that she's already been in custody. And that little over 6 years that she's already been in custody counts toward her now 8-year sentence. So she's going to be out in less than 2 years. So ladies, if you're the other woman and you have your eye on your lover and all you need to do is to get that silly wife out of the way, the trade-off is 8 years. Holy smokes, that seems a little low when you put it in that context and you put it in Florida. Hold my beer.
Hold my beard.
Hold my beer.
Hold my beer. What is it?
Florida Stories is produced by Spring Rock. Follow me on Twitter at Florida Stories J. I'm James Parker, and this is Florida Stories. James Parker here. I've been working with Dwayne Stein on the radio version of Mortgage Gumbo for years, and then a couple of years ago, I actually needed a mortgage. Me and my wife were moving to another state, and this was complicated. I'm a self-employed guy, so I like to, for tax purposes, have my income as low as possible. So does that hurt me qualifying? Wife is quitting her job and taking a new job. We're selling an existing house while at the same time buying a new house. All kinds of complications. And Dwayne's not just full of hot air on the radio show. He took the reins, took care of it for me, got all my paperwork. Him and Sam teamed up, and if there was a request for more info, they usually jumped on it before I even saw the email. Someone, I'm not going to name any names, but one of our realtors missed something in the paperwork, and Dwayne caught it. I'm not making this up just to make a good commercial. He's legit. So if you're buying, you need a refi, reverse, anything like that, call Dwayne Stein at Mortgage Gumbo. Go to mortgagegumbo.com.
Dad can.